You may have often wondered how to be an astronaut and dismissed that idea as seeming impossible. The truth is that although it is an extremely competitive field, it is possible to achieve. It requires a lot of motivation and effort, but what dream doesn't demand it? In this video, we'll tell you everything you need to know in terms of what steps you should take, what requirements and what qualifications you need to head towards the stars. But first, please like and subscribe to this channel and then sit back and relax. What is an astronaut? The word astronaut derives from the Greek terms astron and nautos and refers to a person trained and equipped to be a commander or crew member aboard a spacecraft. Interestingly, in Russia, they are called cosmonauts. Also, due to China's recent manned space travel, the word taikonaut has emerged, although it is not yet used as a formal term. The words astronaut and cosmonaut arose as a result of the space race between the United States and Russia in the Cold War, as a simple way of differentiating the nationality of the crew members of both countries. While it was the United States that won that race, Russia was the first country to send a man into space. Yuri Gagarin became the first cosmonaut in April 1961 aboard the Vostok 1 spacecraft. In addition, the Russians were also the first to send a woman into space, Valentina Tereshkova, in July 1963. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, better known as NASA, was created in 1958 to promote the peaceful applications of space science. Throughout its history, it has developed well-known programs such as Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. The latter achieved one of the greatest milestones in human history, the arrival of man on the moon. Who are the first astronauts? The first astronauts were primarily military pilots with jet experience and engineering training. Also, they couldn't be taller than 5 feet 9 inches due to the size of the spaceships. Apart from a base in piloting and engineering, the study of space also requires scientific knowledge and notions on how to apply it, which is why in 1964 they began to look for professionals who adapted to this profile to be astronaut scientists. And one of the requirements at that time, it was to have a doctorate in medicine, engineering, or natural sciences such as physics, chemistry, or biology. What does an astronaut do? As we said, NASA uses the term astronaut to refer to any crew member aboard its spacecraft. The daily tasks of these professionals are many and varied and begin after completing their training, which usually takes place at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. After completing their training, astronauts are selected to carry out missions for the United States or international space institutions. Some of the main daily tasks of an astronaut are meeting with the control center to determine the details of the project, piloting the ship and taking charge of its maintenance, carrying out experiments in the absence of gravity, and training daily so that their stay in space does not lead to a loss of muscle mass and to withstand extreme conditions when exposed to takeoff and the absence of gravity. What are the functions that astronauts have during their missions? Astronauts meet with the crew participating in the mission to determine future actions and coordinate how to proceed. They pilot the ship or serve as part of the crew. They follow the instructions of the control center in all phases of the flight, including the time to re-enter orbit. They monitor spacecraft systems during takeoff and orbital flight. Astronauts maneuver the spacecraft into a docking positions on the International Space Station. They follow flight patterns and routes, and also remain in constant communications with the ground control tower. They request authorizations during takeoff and landing, and also report the status and locations of the spacecraft. Astronauts report and respond to emergencies such as equipment failures, problems, or threats, and follow the procedures indicated to resolve them. They keep the logbook updated with all the details of the flight and incidents, and also perform periodic repairs on the International Space Station. What titles are needed? NASA has a very selective process when it comes to choosing their candidates, and this career is certainly competitive and extremely demanding, but it is not impossible. As of today, the level of education required by NASA to be accepted into its astronaut training program is as follows. Have a master's degree in any field related to science, technology, physics, engineering, or mathematics. Have completed at least 2 years of a doctorate related to the mentioned fields. Have a degree in medicine or osteopathic medicine, or have completed a nationally recognized program to become a pilot. Have at least 2 years of relevant experience after completions of studies, or have completed at least 1,000 flight hours as a pilot in command in jet aircraft. In addition to academic qualifications, a command of English is essential. Likewise, it is essential to show leadership, teamwork, and communication skills. What physical skills are needed? Applications to NASA are increasing in number. For example, in 2016, there were a total of 18,300 applications. The candidates that appear in the selection process have training in various fields and only some are selected to continue and access the training program. Although there are no age requirements, astronauts are typically between the age of 26 and 46. Some of the requirements to access the program are be a US citizen or have dual citizenship, be between 5 feet 2 inches and 6 feet 3 inches tall, have a blood pressure of 140 to 90 or better, have perfect vision, and be in good physical condition. If all the requirements, both academic and physical, are met, NASA invites those selected to participate in an interview in Houston. After conducting this interview, only a few advance to the second round. From this second group, those chosen will become part of the cast of new NASA astronauts. How can I become an astronaut? Despite being subjected to an extremely selective process, as we have mentioned, it is not something impossible. It is simply necessary to dedicate many hours and be very persevering about it. Some of the steps you can follow are: study. To get started, make sure you have a study plan and stick to it rigorously. You should keep in mind that NASA is looking for graduates in physics, science, astronomy, computer science, or engineering. After completing your undergraduate degree, you must either obtain a master's degree in one of those above fields, have a medical degree, or have studied at least 2 years of a doctorate also related to science, technology, physics, or engineering. After carrying out all of this, you will need relevant experience concerning your studies or flight hours as a commander. Get fit. Second, get ready to spend hours in the gym. Health and fitness should be another of your priorities if you are interested in this career. Astronauts are exposed to extreme conditions, especially during takeoff, zero gravity, and re-entry into the Earth orbit. Not suffering from any visions, heart, or other medical problems is not a whim. The body must be prepared to deal with these conditions. Apply as a candidate for the NASA program. Once the NASA selections of processes are open, you can apply as a candidate to begin the selection process. As we know, the PALAS processes are slow and the response can take months, so don't despair. Train. If you are one of the lucky people who managed to get into NASA, you will have to begin a 2-year training process in which military training designed for survival is carried out. There you will learn skills such as walking in space, operating in space station, piloting jet planes, and most importantly, controlling robotic arms. To wrap it up, in the selection process called by the Space Agency in March 2020, there were a total of 12,040 people who wanted to join NASA as astronauts. Of all of them, only between 8 and 12 people were selected. So, you must have a lot of discipline and perseverance. The process may be difficult, but the rewards can be even more difficult. After all, not everyone can say that they have seen the Earth from above. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like, the subscription button, and the notification bell. To get notified when new videos are uploaded from this channel, please share your thoughts about how to be an astronaut and work for NASA in the comment section below. Thank you.